Frantic Nerdcast, hosted by AJ and Brock, talking about all the nerdy things that you want to hear about. Let's get into it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Frantic Nerdcast, episode number 23. I am AJ.
And I'm Brock.
Alrighty, and we are yet again going remotely. So, as with the past couple of weeks, don't mind the delay and stuff if there is any, or dropouts or anything like that. We'll make sure we can do it as well as possible for you guys.
It's all just gibberish from us anyways, and you love the gibberish. So navigating just a little bit of delay as well, just as part of the fun.
And so how you been, Brock? You been all good, mate?
I'll tell you what, I've been good. Loving the new little roller coaster and journey that Shannon and I are on with the little one. The little one is a month today, and my God, that has gone by so bloody quick. So
very quick, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible. Like, just waking up and thinking, oh yeah, she's been here for a month, and I'm just like, fuck, where the hell did that month go?
It goes nice phenomenal. And quick.
Oh, it goes so quick. And I think for how quick it's gone, I think when I end up going back to work, I think that first week at work is going to be the slowest week of work of my life.
yeah, that will happen.
It's got to feel like longer than the month I've just had off.
No,
it's look, it's great. We're going through the motions now. As I said, it's a massive roller coaster, but loving every minute. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right.
How about you, man? What have you been up to?
Oh, mate, just, work, writing, writing children, all that fun stuff. Just
I keep talking about writing, and then I just don't write.
You got to stay up till 4 a.m. in the morning doing it, mate. That's the way it works.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one for the time being. I think my little wake up at 4 o'clock just to help out with a feed and a change of the diaper. I think we'll just run with that one for the time being.
Yeah, that's probably a smart decision. All right, well, let's without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's go into
TV shows.
Into some TV show action. Let's jump on with the rumor mill, shall we? You got any rumors for TV shows there?
I got a couple of little things. I've actually got a couple of little fun facts and a little bit of a piece where to go through. But seen something, Invincible is looking to release its season number 3, 2025. So they've just put a big broad banner on when they're going to release it. And as yourself has touched on a couple of times when talking about Invincible, hopefully they're sorted in relation to what they need to do so that they can release it the week by week rather than having that massive gap in the middle.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, it's an absolutely incredible show. Keen for season 3.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you haven't read the comics, get out there and read those comics. I think you can get it in 2 compendiums from memory because it's finished. It has been for a while. It is one of the best comics written, I reckon. I love it. It's such a good comic.
So I watched the show before I read the comic.
Yeah.
And even watching the show and going back to read the comic, it's still they're very samey. They don't shift too much from each other.
Literally only a few little things in the show they've kind of had to change, and you can understand why they've had to change it for video to kind of comic form. But it's still pretty accurate and it's phenomenal.
It's incredible. Highly recommend both of them. But yeah, that's one for me. What do you got?
I've actually got nothing for TV shows. All mine are in movies.
Right, well, I'll rattle my other couple off then. Every episode of Star Wars Acolyte has cost more to make than Godzilla -1. So every individual episode.
Wow. That's just, go Disney. Fucking throw that money around.
Yeah. DC or James Gunn's DC universe, every single iteration of a game, a TV show, an animation, a movie, a whatever, the intention is to keep the same actor in place, no matter what it actually falls into, just to keep that continuation.
Yep.
Be interesting to see how he manages to pull that off, if he does.
Yeah. Marvel have done that for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
There's only a few actors they didn't get for the What If, but other than that, it's the same actors.
For the most, I think I don't know. The way that I read it, it seemed like a bit more to try and bite off. Because it seemed, I don't know, just the way that I read it, it seemed like a bit more than what Marvel would able to do. Because Marvel stuff, whilst they do have a lot of things, they've sort of spaced it out enough to sort of plan ahead, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas DC, I don't know. I've got a funny feeling where James Gunn's throwing something out there, and I'm going to be interesting if they can pull it off.
That's going to be a monster fucking contract, man. Those actors,
100%.
that's going to have some lawyers looking over that shit because that would be a huge contract.
Oh, exactly. And the last one, so fun little fact. We've got Huey from The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got the lead of the Star Wars Acolyte being the actor who portrays May and Osha.
Oh, yep.
The fun little fact is that these two persons appeared in the Hunger Games, in which Huey's character kills May and Osha's character being Rue from the Hunger Games. So I thought that was an interesting little tidbit.
There you go. Did not know that.
Neither did I, because I knew that Huey's character. I've gone blank on his name, but I knew that Huey's character, or the actor plays him, was in Hunger Games. So I knew that. I knew that he was the one who killed Rue, but I just didn't realize that this was the same actor within the.
Oh,
Acolyte.
she's in the bees. It's the hornet's nest chick in Hunger Games.
She's the young girl who climbs.
Yeah,
the young girl who's always climbing,
and she cuts off the hornet's nest thing. Yep. I know who she is.
Helps out Katniss quite a lot, and ends up getting speared or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, well, your little segue there of The Boys is very good because we're going to jump straight in to Boys episode 1, 2, and 3, which just aired last week.
Yes, they did.
Dude, much fucking fanfare. Oh my god, the internet broke.
Back and fuck, I love this show.
It's hilarious. It's like the worst season of The Boys. Rotten Tomatoes score. Oh my god! It's like seriously, people.
But 2 days later it was at like 99. It's like, what the fuck? How about you wait until more than one person has commented on the show?
It's hilarious. No, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this season so far. It is
awesome,
fantastic.
So far, it's been probably, other than the wow factor of the first season, this has been my favorite start to a season.
Have you read the comics yet?
No, I haven't read any of the comics.
Okay.
Are
you going to? Or are you just going to let it run out?
I'm going to after next season. So I kind of, this is one that I watched and got thoroughly invested in it. And I kind of, if I get invested in one or the other, I'd prefer to just stick to one or the other rather than going the other route and then sort of crossing between the two.
I won't tell you how the comic ends because I'm pretty sure they're not going to end the same way as the comic.
Sweet.
That's
awesome.
It's going in a similar route.
Yeah. But
one of the big reveals at the end of the comic, they can't do now.
Okay. Well, that's good. But look, I'm going to finish watching this and then I'm going to go back and go to the comics. I think I can probably start with some of the earlier comics now, but at the minute I've got enough shit on my plate that I'm reading anyway. So,
well, it's funny because like there's parts they've kind of taken parts from all of the comics and like mashed them into different parts of thing. So there's like stuff that happens at the end of the comics that is kind of like happening now or happened last season kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
So the other fun fact, the other thing I learned, the one who plays the vice president chick.
Yep.
The one
Newman.
Newman. She's Australian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was watching like some Vanity Fair thing on YouTube and it's like them asking each other questions and she comes out and she's like full blown Aussie accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Had no clue. Which is hilarious because she's Aussie, Homelander's Kiwi, Butcher's Kiwi.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. I mean, look, to the show, it's gory. It pushes the boundaries of what you can show on screen.
Yep.
And the driving story underneath for so many of the characters, not just like the main antagonist-protagonist piece between Starlight and Homelander, but all the little nuances underneath. I'm loving it. Like, I mean, you've got Frenchie.
One second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, for those of you listening, that's is your warning for episodes 1, 2, and 3.
We should really start with that thing before we actually start talking, shouldn't we?
Well, we haven't officially said anything from the episodes yet. So
true.
That is your warning. Well, we are now going to start talking about what happened in these episodes.
Yeah, so they all die.
That's actually the end of The Boys.
Frenchie and his love interest. I'm loving how that's happening in that turmoil that he's going through with Colin. Colin, I think his name is, or Carter.
Carter,
with
I
how,
think it was,
something starting with C, and how Frenchie has killed his family at some point in time with his. I
well,
think
that's
Russian
kind of
ties
that's why he got into the relationship in the first place. When he was killing people for the butcher lady.
So I think that's awesome undertone. Newman running for president, I think that's awesome, and the way that that's sort of being seen and shown. A-Train coming across, trying to twist onto the good side, I think that's awesome. I'm really invested in Homelander's the turmoil that there's scenes where they're doing with him, because he's starting to lose his hair. And
he's starting to get great pubes.
And just watching the scenes when it's him and he's completely spaced out and blanked, and you can just see the amount of emotion that he's got running through his face, and you've just got the loud sound that's playing in the background.
Such a good fucking actor, man. He's such a good actor.
It's so
we've said this before last time. Awesome. Yeah, we said this before last time we played with talked about the boys and stuff like that in detail, of just his ability to convey emotions and stuff, and that ability just to switch is just so scarily good. It's awesome.
And you know what is touching on that? It's awesome the way that he's doing it for us, but the way that he's also doing it within the show for the other characters of the show. It's there's that the rally early on where he's off screen and he's exactly like that. You can see that thing on his face, and he's just fuck. You can just see it on his face. He's in absolute agony and whatnot. And he just goes.
I love that in episode
and then
1.
Walks out,
when he walks out and he's like, "No, guys, stop. Everything will be fine. Just stop. No, what are you doing? Stop."
It's awesome. He's so good, so good.
And I love Noir too in this as well.
That's super funny.
I just love
it's
he's just there, and it's I just want to get into many characters. What was the original
direction?
Just shut the fuck up. You don't talk. Stop talking.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Literally, I think the only thing that Homelander has said to him is "shut up."
Yep.
Or "shut up" or "shut the fuck up," and it's literally just in passing. He's just "shut the fuck up," and then just keeps walking. It's so good. The other bit is Butcher's declining health. It's not good to see his declining health, but the way that they're showing it on the screen is really, really fucking good.
I like I like that we saw the hallucination, and you could tell that he was seeing someone, and you couldn't tell who it was, and then all of a sudden you see that it's Becky.
Yeah,
and you're awesome. Nice work. That's good. I like that kind of little thing there. And the kid is annoying the fuck out of me.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's his ability to act or just that whole arc. I don't give a shit about the kid. I like that. I like that Homelander and him and Butcher are fighting over him. I just don't give a fuck about him.
That's why he's there, though. That's more or less the only reason that he's sort of there. It's to give that humanity to both Butcher and to Homelander, and to see how they sort of portray it across.
Well, you can tell why they've done it for Homelander's side of things, because Homelander essentially he wants to be something else. He wants to be the dad kind of thing, Soldier Boy and all that kind of shit. But but then you can see why they're using it this season, because as soon as the kid starts getting the spotlight, he gets jealous and he's like, "Oh no, I need to be the ultimate hero kind of thing."
Yeah, because that's when he jumps in at the end of the scene or something, doesn't he?
He jumps in at the end of the and then the kid kills the dude.
Yeah, that was awesome. You could see that coming about 10,000 miles away that was going to happen. But just even though it's still you're expecting it, you knew it was coming, and then to watch it happen, you still went, "Oh, fuck." Yep, it happened. Yeah.
And he's that dude that he kills as well. He's a famous stuntman as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. The opening scene, not the opening scene, but the opening scenes where they're in the hotel and going through to try and do the bust, that was awesome. And then you see Newman's daughter coming out with her tentacles and fucking people up. I wasn't sure how long until, because through the boys, they always do something fairly big early. Yeah. I'm I wonder what it'll be. I wonder what'll happen. And then you see that, you're like, oh fuck.
Oh, the biggest thing happens in episode, because that was episode 1. The biggest thing happens in episode 2. And for those supernatural fans, you'll never look at God in the same way.
Oh dear God, that was fucking.
Because he plays pretty much multiple man from X-Men.
Yeah.
He plays him, and he's essentially jacking off to a picture whilst eating his own ass, human centipede style, of about 7 of him in a row. Like I could tell, like I'm watching it, and I hear like you hear the noise. I imagined he was going to be like training himself, so he's going to be butt fucking himself multiple times.
Right.
That's what I thought was going to happen. But then when it opened, it was human centipede. I was like, oh, damn.
So during the week or before I'd actually started watching, I seen a meme, and it was one image to tell you what's happening for episode 1, 2, and 3. Now, episode 1 was Deadpool's little hand.
Yeah, Kimiko when she goes out the window.
That scene was amazing. She comes out, she's got the little hand reaching out to grab hold of Starlight, and then just misses, and Starlight's like, what?
And then she pops her head up, and the skin flaps, and they're like, oh.
Like just that, like I said, that whole fucking opening scene and whatnot was incredible. And then the second image was Human Centipede. So I'm like, oh fuck, what are they fucking gonna do in this? And then when I seen the duplicating man up on stage, I'm like, oh no. Yep. So that was when you first see, I'm like, oh fuck, what are they gonna be? And then when he buggers off,
what was the third season's image?
I can't remember what the third one was, because I seen those two and then started watching the show, and so they stuck. And then I watched the third episode later, and I couldn't remember what it was, and unfortunately I didn't save the image. But I'll have to try and go back and find it now. Yeah, I mean, you've got like we got that opening scene. Oh, how'd you go with bloody Alonzo and his character when you first seen him, bloody Mother's Milk? Did you get the old trick as well and thought it was a different actor?
Oh no, he's just lost a heap of weight.
Yeah, he lost heaps of weight. Yeah. So when I've seen a bunch of like photo memes and whatnot getting around saying, don't worry everybody, it's still Alonzo as the character, and they've got the side by side, and like you can tell that it's still him. But yeah, lost heaps of weight.
Alonzo Usher, I think is his name. Is that his name?
Laz Alonso, something like that. But yeah, so I heard him say something. I'm like, oh fuck, they haven't recast him. That doesn't sound like him. Fuck, that really doesn't. And then it went to his face. I'm like, fuck, it doesn't look like him either. I reckon they've recast him. And then I went straight to Google, had a look. I'm like, no, they haven't recast him. What's going on? And then like a scene or two later, you get a bit of more of a shot of him. Like, oh, okay, no, okay, cool. It's still him. Just looks a little bit different. Yeah, I think it's also the fact he's gone to the mo rather than
and his face
full beard as well.
You can see it in his cheeks. His cheeks are a lot thinner.
Yep. But no, it was that one threw me for a little bit.
And then
look,
I love the when Frenchie gets stoned in episode 3, and him and Kimiko go into the fight. And Kimiko's just killing people left, right, and center in that warehouse.
The bubbles and
he's just tripping out.
So fun. So I was watching it, and I think that was the first scene that Shan walked in and seen happening. So she's walked in, seen that, and gone, "What the?"
Yeah, Amy walked in at that same thing. She's like, "What are you watching?"
It's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, look, to be fair, this is amazing. You've just walked in at a really bad point to understand what the fuck's going on. Yeah. But what I loved about that scene as well is the fact that it was a reverse from the previous one, where Kimiko was pissed as a nit.
Oh yeah, when she's drunk
at the road show. So it's like, are you drunk? How much have you had? And she's just doing the hand signals, like 1, 2, 4 beers, and then it keeps going
right there. She's like, right at 7.
Yeah, like fuck yeah, that's awesome.
I did like I love it, but I like the reason that they gave her to get drunk as well, which was good. Where she saw that picture, it reminded her of herself and all that kind of stuff. And I love that fight
that
scene.
Side arc.
Yeah, I love that fight scene in episode 2 with the multiple like splitter. And just like half of them naked and stuff, and they just stab him through the chin, and he's like, not prime.
And then they all sort of drop a few seconds later. Yeah, that was really well
done.
We
loved you.
Really, really well done. Look, started off with a banger. Like it's such a good show. Keen to see where the rest of it takes us. And I'm really, as I said, this has been my second favorite start of the show from a season perspective.
Yep.
And
I don't think you can ever top episode 1.
No, you
just
can't.
Because it was the hands and A-Train running through her. Fucked up.
It was just
still. I remember seeing that going, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah. Because I didn't even really know about The Boys before the show, like the comic or anything.
Yeah, I don't. And so, I think I'd heard of it. I'd never read it.
Yeah. So my introduction to it was like, oh, this is about superheroes. Sweet. Threw it on, seen that. I'm like, fuck, this is about superheroes. And it's not disappointed since then. It's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, I love it. And don't anyone listen to internet Facebook trolls. Fucking watch it. You will, if you've liked any season, you'll enjoy this season. It's
100%.
It's a great show. So good. All right, on to the other series that is being hated by everyone at the moment. The Acolyte, episode 3.
I don't know why people are hating it. So we got Star Wars, Acolyte, episode number 3. Again, it's just a good episode.
Again, just another spoiler warning for episode 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is a flashback episode, so it shows us May and Osha as like young kids and sort of
with the witches,
the witches in the event. I thought it was Witches of Dathomir, but I honestly didn't actually do any looking into research about it. So.
From what I've read, they are the Witches of Dathomir.
Okay, cool.
But there's been a lot of sort of canon switching around and stuff like that back in the from like the witches back in the day and stuff, like the witch that was originally in the Ewoks made for TV movie. She later got canonized as a witch of Dathomir in like a comic book that someone did or something like that. And so it's like this whole thing of they're pretty much trying to bring in this alternate they're trying to build up this alternate to the Jedi, who are also still Jedis. They're Force users, but they just use it in a different way, which a lot of people are having issues with. Because only the Jedis can use the Force.
What about the Sith?
The Sith are technically Jedis.
Oh, fuck off.
They just can't see the dark side of the Force.
No, see, look, the Witches of Dathomir, like if you go back to the Clone Wars TV show, like that was an awesome story arc, watching all the like the Dathomir and the women of Dathomir, the men of Dathomir, the witches and whatnot. Because I mean, you've got the women who have the Sith. I've just gone blank on a name. It's like Anus or Anus or something. Agnes or I'll Google it later.
I should be scared of you, Anus, but I just can't be with a name like that.
Oh, you watch. It'll be something completely different. It won't even fucking have an A in it. Because you got, and you've also got Maul, who's a male Dathomir, and so like that whole story arc within Clone Wars and everything that happened around them was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and
then seeing it here, like it sort of. It took me back to there and gave me a bit of nostalgia around that. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Yeah. And then they lost me when they did their chant.
Yeah, well, one of the things that a lot of people have had issues with is that they're breaking the canon, or apparently this is the complaint, they're breaking the canon of Anakin being the one who, essentially Star Wars Jesus, who will bring balance to the Force, because he was born of the midichlorians and he was the one. But these twins are born of the midichlorians as well now. So essentially that is breaking Anakin being space Jesus kind of thing, when these twins are also space Jesus just 150 years before Anakin. Kind of thing.
I mean, even if you want to look at it from a canon perspective, it'll be interesting to see how that goes about, because the more and more that I watch Star Wars shows in general, like movies, TV and whatnot, like the Jedi are continually, in my opinion, starting to be portrayed more as
baddies.
Like exactly. And that's where I think that this would be a really, really cool piece to add into the canon, in that, sure, they were born of midichlorians, or however that process works, and that it is canon, but the Jedi just ignored it because they didn't like them.
Yeah. No, because that's definitely that's what this show is trying to do. Is trying to portray the Jedi as bad guys. Which, I mean, if you look at any fucking thing through history, heroes like what was it? Someone's hero is someone else's villain, or you live long enough as the hero to become someone else's villain, or something like that. Is the saying?
Yeah, that's Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah, and it's I'm enjoying it. It's not the greatest show I've ever seen.
No, but I mean, it does not deserve the hate that it's getting. That's for sure. I will say that. Look, as I said, the only thing that really I didn't like about this episode was the chanting. I think like whenever I look at any form of like cult perspective of anything, like it's the monotone, it's the ooh 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 like type of shit. But then this one went oh yeah. It was like really. It was just fucking cringe. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, but other than that, it was good.
I have to say, the only thing I am not liking about this entire season are the Jedi's outfits. They look fucking stupid. You know, I know that I know that's what they're meant to look like from all like the books and the comics and all that kind of stuff of like the earlier Jedi outfits. They just look fucking stupid.
Yeah, they do. I mean, oh well, look. I do agree.
I just want them to make
accurate, but it looks shit.
I just want them to make a Mara Jade series. Once they've done that, I'm happy. I'll be out of Star Wars. You can be done. She was my favorite character from the books back in the day when I was a young fella.
Yeah.
I mean, gingers in space. Why not? That's what they could call it. Star Wars. Gingers in space.
Oh, that could be the next piece for. That could be the next premise for Spaceballs.
Well, funnily enough, speaking of that, my first piece of rumor news, which I'm guessing you've got on yours as well.
That is also my first.
It was announced today that where am I? Wrong. I've gone the wrong fucking part of the thing. It was announced today that Josh Gad is starring and producing in a Spaceballs sequel with Mel Brooks also producing as well.
There you go. I mean, I seen it. I thought, you know what, sweet. And the big thing for me is that the first one was an amazing comedy from the 80s. It was incredibly well done.
Still holds up to this day. I've watched it I've watched it this year numerous times.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I think if they were to make that movie today verbatim, it would not fucking hit.
I don't think. Yeah. Well, the issue with that movie is everything it references is of the time.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like, all the references would have to be of the time now as well.
Yep. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think, and even when I do say verbatim, I do mean like using references and whatnot. Yeah. But I'm not sure how, if you were to make that movie now using references of now, et cetera, like I don't know how well the movie would hit from the current climate. Now, I hope that it hits well, and I hope that they're smart enough to do something, because they still do those ridiculous like parody comedies out there, like not as much as what they used to.
Yeah, most of them were shit.
I mean, what? I think they sort of died off.
Meet the Spartans. 2000s. Fuck me, that was a bad movie.
Oh God, I'm not even going to bother. But I think early 2000s. I think they were big and started, or late 90s, early 2000s, they were big and like sort of died off.
Like your scary movies, Not Another Teen Movie. They were really the only good ones.
Yeah, really. I think they did.
Date movie wasn't horrible.
Yeah, and so, I'm keen especially with Josh Gad and Mel Brooks. Like, that's awesome.
I think it'll be good.
Especially with them two. They're clever.
It's gonna be hard, but it'll be good. And, so, yeah, I've got 100% faith in it. What do you got?
T'Challa to be recast.
Fuck you.
After Secret Wars.
Are we looking at the same fucking rumors?
Did you open my fucking notes?
No. Prick, you're looking at the same fucking rumors I
am. Well, look, there's that one. I mean, I don't know if they will recast T'Challa, or if T'Challa's going to be in it, because T'Challa's still currently there, his son. So, because they did that at the end of Wakanda Forever.
Nah, I reckon they're going to recast him, because I reckon Secret Wars is going to reset the slate.
You reckon it'll reset the slate? Or yeah, look, it wouldn't surprise me. And it's one of those things where, personally, I think it'll be one of two. Was going to be one of two things: either because it's multiverse, they can do whatever the fuck they want, or it won't be recast. It'll actually be T'Challa's son, T'Challa, just grown up.
Nah, I reckon they'll recast because because that's what Secret Wars was in the comics. It's a massive fucking let's pick the parts we want. Same as DC's fucking Crisis was like, we want this part of this character, this part of this character. Like, then they can go through and pick what they want. So it's essentially just a reset after fucking 20 years worth of movies.
No, that's fair enough.
That scares me. That's like when that comes out, that'll be like nearly 20 years worth of Marvel.
I know, that's nuts, hey.
I still remember seeing nuts. Iron Man.
Fuck. Oh, I know, right? Like that's fucking nuts. That is crazy. It is absolutely madness, and it's wild. I mean, but to Marvel's credit, like to 20 years and to have the shit that they brought out and hit so fucking well over 20 years, like it's absolutely phenomenal.
100%. And one of the things like I hate hearing is superhero fatigue. Which is, in my opinion...
Superhero fatigue. We've been reading fucking comics since the 40s.
Yeah, it's my opinion, superhero fatigue is not a fucking thing. No way. It is people bitching fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's all people are getting sick of, is hearing people bitch about superhero movies, because that's all people want to do is go on the internet and bitch about these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think people are just getting sick of hearing people bitch about these movies.
I mean, look...
they're also making bad movies.
Oh, yeah, of course. Like, a bad movie's a bad movie. But
not bad movies, just not as good.
Yeah. But I mean, look, Marvel sort of, they really set the way for what a modern comic movie could be. Like, we did have some things through the 90s and whatnot, like around the Batmans and stuff. And Marvel did try to do some other ones. I mean, there's been, there was Hulk movies back in the 80s, I want to say, I think it was, 80s or 90s. There's a couple of Hulk movies.
Yeah.
There was
the Hulk
Captain
series.
America.
I used to love the Captain America movie, the second one. There was one really long time ago. Then there was one in like the 90s, I think.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed that one.
See, I never really watched any of those, but I mean, and they never really hit, so to speak. Like, they were there. I'm sure that there were people that had the mad cult following, like similar to ourselves, except we've got a massive fucking pop culture.
We've got a massive fan base that listen to us talking about these things.
Oh, 100%. Thousands upon thousands. But I mean, yeah, look, see what happens. Secret Wars, it can come through. And funny you say that, because there was something that I was going to say about Mr. Freeze from last week, because I forgot what he was prior.
Okay.
And he was actually known as Mr. Zero, a mad scientist with unknown birth name who, after a physiology altering mishap, became an ice-themed criminal, typically armed with a freezing weapon. So that was more or less his how he occurred prior to Crisis, and then after Crisis he was reinvented by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm to be Mr. Freeze, who was Dr. Victor Fries, etc., etc.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, my next piece of little bit of news is that Blade, but the TV series Blade, is going to be appearing in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, I've seen something about this.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, because apparently Ryan Reynolds hates Wesley Snipes, so that's why Wesley Snipes' version of Blade will not be in the movie. That's at least the rumor I read. But if you haven't watched the TV series, it came out in 2006, I think it was. Yeah, 2006. It was like 13 episodes, and it stars Sticky Fingers as Blade. And it was fucking great. It was a really good show. I don't think I watched it, to be honest. I've got it on DVD if you want to borrow it. Loved it. It was great, because Blade was one of my favorite movies, especially Blade 2, Guillermo del Toro. Fucking phenomenal. But yeah, the series is awesome. It kind of, like, the first episode was essentially like the first movie kind of thing.
Sure.
And then it kind of spun off from there. But it was really good. And I think it ended on a cliffhanger, unfortunately, and then got cancelled. But yeah, really, really good show. Highly recommend it.
Fun fact. Tim Burton once wanted to make a Batman vs. Godzilla movie.
What the fuck? People give Batman too much fucking too much voucher.
Mate, he'd win. Godzilla.
Essentially, it would be a Power Rangers movie, Power Rangers versus Godzilla, which is happening in the comics at the moment. But just no. I got one more. A different Iron Fist will appear in Shang-Chi 2 and Eyes of Wakanda. So 2 different Iron Fists will appear in the MCU.
Okay.
And it won't be the series Iron Fist because that was bad.
Yes, it was.
Well, the second season wasn't too bad, but the first season was not good.
And he was horrible in Defenders. Anywho.
Yes.
Will Smith to star in a sci-fi thriller Resistor based on the book Influx. Now, I know nothing about either, but it caught my eye because Will Smith, great actor.
Yeah, didn't get cancelled. Somehow didn't manage to get cancelled.
Yeah, somehow. Great actor. And, I mean, I Am Legend was an incredible sci-fi thriller.
Which the sequel is getting made?
Yes, it is getting made. So, I mean, I'd love to see him in that. I'd be interested to just read a synopsis about Influx just to see what it's about. Yeah.
I've got nothing else.
My last one was a 3-body problem film is in the works.
Film? So they're not they're not continuing the series?
No, so there is season number 2 comes out. I wanted to say late this year, but it might be early next year. So season number 2 is definitely happening. But yeah, I'd seen a thing that they're also doing a film. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something along the lines of season 1, season 2, and then finish it with a film. Who knows? Have you watched it?
I have. I didn't really get into it. I got bored by the end of it.
Okay.
So I read the synopsis of what happens in the books. And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I don't give a fuck anymore.
Fair enough.
Because the books, from what I've read, the books kind of go off the rail a little bit.
Fair enough. Look, I didn't mind it from the show perspective, at least.
It's good concept.
It was a bit.
But especially once you've read what happens in the books, like the synopsis, you look at that series and you go, oh, yeah, no, that's just, it's kind of like it lies to you about what the show, the start of it lies to you about what it is. And then what it actually ends up being, you're kind of like, oh, really? Really? Okay.
No, fair enough. Look, I'm enjoying it so far, so we'll see when the next season comes out anyways.
All right. Okay, on to our first thing. Now, we mentioned this last week that we're going to do this subject, so we thought, let's do this subject. And it is sleeper movies. Yeah. So movies that you have seen and you're like, that movie was phenomenal, and you say it to other people and they're like, I don't know what that movie is. So it's movies that no one has seen but should see.
So I completely forgot what we were talking about last week. I just remember that you said sleeper movies.
Yep.
So
you done movies that you fall asleep to?
And sorry?
You did movies you fall asleep to?
I Googled sleeper movies. And I actually got the idea of a sleeper movie, and apparently the idea behind a sleeper movie is that it's a movie that is done in a way where it's got no real promotion, no real, hey, look at this, nothing along those lines. And then when it hits the cinema or the box office and whatnot, or even just after box office, it sort of picks up and fucking takes off.
Yeah.
So I got two films along those lines, or film series along those lines. And then I also got another one which actually talks a little bit to more what you said, because I picked a movie that I had just not fucking heard of and then watched, and I'm like, holy fuck, that was amazing. Why has nobody ever told me about that? And then I tell other people about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I answered your question and I went rogue.
Okay, well, I'll start off because this was my idea, this one, and this kind of came from this movie because I only just rewatched this movie, and I watched it a long time ago, and the first time I watched it, I was like, that movie was fucking awesome. And then I watched it again, I was like, why do people not rave about this film? And this film is Underwater. It is a 2020 movie starring Kirsten Stewart, who is Twilight, obviously. That's probably why I know I'm watching the movie, in fairness. Vincent Cassel, who is a French actor. He's a very, very famous French actor. He was in Jason Bourne and Westworld and stuff. Jessica Henwick, who is in Iron Fist, the series. John Gallagher Jr., who's from Newsroom. He's a great actor as well. And also TJ Miller, who is now cancelled. You will know him from Silicon Valley and Deadpool.
Yep.
So essentially, the movie is a group of workers in year 2050, I think it is, work in an underwater mining site in the Barriola Trench, whatever it's called. Is that what it's called?
Yep, sure.
What's it called? The drilling the Titan-size research in the Mariana Trench.
The Mariana Trench.
That's the one. And pretty much it starts off with Kirsten Stewart. She's like drying herself out after the shower, and like leaks are starting to happen. And then like the base starts shaking, and then all of a sudden like shit just goes and fucking starts imploding on itself and all this kind of stuff, and people die left, right, and center. And like that's the start of the movie. And then essentially it goes to we'll give warnings for all of these movies, even though they do surpass our time stature. Essentially, so what happens is like they end up having to walk on the surface of the water, underwater, to get to these other parts of the facility to try and get rescued, essentially. Yep. And then whilst they're going across, fucking these underwater monsters just start fucking attacking them, like humanoid underwater monsters start attacking them. And then close your ears for the next 10 seconds if you don't want to hear what happens in the movie. In 3, 2, 1. Then it's a fucking Cthulhu rising from the bottom of the ocean. He's the one who caused all this shit. And it surprised me, and it was just really good the way they did all the underwater scenes where like they went a bit Iron Man-y, where it's like the side of the helmet. The suits look like full-on fucking Gears of War space, like Warhammer 40K Space Marine water suits.
I'm in now.
They look so good. Like you look at them and you instantly like, that whoever designed that needs to design the Space Marine armor for the live action movie. And it was just a thoroughly enjoyable movie. Obviously it's pretty predictable. People die, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
Once you get to the end kind of that does surprise you a little bit as well. But I highly recommend it. It is a severely underrated film. It's not scary. It's
got a few jumps in it.
It's a bit thrillery, and you've got jumps and stuff with the monsters, etc., like that. Sure. But it's just a really well-made, good movie. There are parts where like they're underwater and they're running like that. Not really, but still thoroughly enjoyable. Highly recommend it. That is Underwater. All right, your number one.
Okay. I'm going to go with my number one. So as I said, I went rogue. And this definitely doesn't answer your question, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the first set of sleeper series movies that I'm going to bring to the table is actually Mad Max. The reason that I say Mad Max is because back in the late 70s and early 80s, so 79, the first Mad Max was released.
Yeah.
And then in 81, the second one was released. Now, when you look at them from a production perspective, they were cheap as shit. It was one of Mel Gibson's very early films, so he was not exactly known at the time. He was very unknown, and this sort of set the way for him as well.
Yeah, because he got the role after he made the Gallipoli series.
From
memory?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember because I know that there was something, because Gallipoli, I was having a look, and it came out in around the 80s as well. So I'm not sure if he was in this first and then did the Gallipoli series and then did Fury Road, but either way. So it sort of globally it did well in the box office and whatnot. But one of the things that was quite interesting is that the first movie didn't take off as much until the second one came out. So within Australia, it did really well. And both the first and second movies did really well in Australia. They were top tier. They did the best of those years within the box office, etc. But what they actually did for the second film, Mad Max 2, it was filmed as Mad Max 2. It was released in Australia as Mad Max 2. It was released in the States as Fury Road.
Yep.
And it was actually released in the States as Fury Road with absolutely no comment about Mad Max whatsoever.
Yeah, people didn't know that it was a sequel.
People had no idea it was a sequel, didn't know what the fuck was going on, released it, and then everyone was sort of like, oh, this is pretty good. And then from the pretty good, everyone sort of went, hang on, this is really fucking good. And then everybody jumped on board, loved it, went back and watched the first one. There was a mad rise in the first one being watched, and then that was able to build the platform for the third one, Thunderdome, and then on to
Thunderdome.
Fury Road.
Such a disappointment.
Furiosa. So, and it's actually one of the, I was reading some things, and it's basically top tier action film series ever. my perspective, like from what they did back in the day to now, it's still considered to this day top tier for being groundbreaking at the time, post-apocalyptic and whatnot. So yeah, I thought that was my first sleeper film for my rogue thoughts.
Yeah, not really the subject, but close enough.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll say Mad Max 1.
Absolutely not the subject.
Mad Max 1 kind of, because you can, like, if you're American, Mad Max 1 would be that kind of thing, because most people didn't know that it was
correct.
It even existed.
Yeah.
And when you look at it compared to the second one, like, it is night and day, completely different fucking budgets.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
All right. My second one is a film called Banraku. It was 2010 martial arts action film written and directed by Guy Moshi, based on a story by Boaz Davidson. And it stars Josh Hartnett, Demi Moore, Woody Harrelson, Ron Perlman, Kevin McKidd, and Gact. And it follows a young drifter in a world where, after a war has happened, where is it? Not that one. So it's, oh, there we go. In the aftermath of a major global conflict which caused untold amounts of death and destruction, guns have been outlawed. However, and even in spite of the not being firearms anymore, people still continue to fight, kill one another, except now they rely on either blade weapons or their bare fists. And it's called
Bunraku.
Bunraku. So Bunraku, for those who don't know, is the ancient form of puppeteering in Japan.
I was just having a look at that now. I'm like, puppeteering, what the fuck?
Yeah, so Bunraku is the puppeteer houses. So you may have seen it's like the flat shadow puppety kind of stuff that they, not shadow puppet, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's the people who dress up in like black suits, and they will go on stage and puppeteer the puppets and stuff like that, and control the mouths and all that kind of thing, and tell stories. Some are funny, some are not funny, all that kind of stuff. So it's the ancient art of that. And the movie is presented as a kind of pop-up book, puppeteer book kind of thing. So all the sets look like they're pop-up books.
Yeah, right.
And it's essentially a big action film where Josh Hartnett plays a cowboy without a gun. And then there's another guy played by Gact who is like a samurai.
Yep.
And essentially they end up having to team up together and try and go up and essentially beat the bosses up to the top tier boss, who is Ron Perlman, who's like the fucking, I think he's called the what is it? He's like the axe man or something. He's like a woodcutter guy, and he just got a big axe and he just kills people with axes and stuff. And it is beautifully made. Woody Harrelson plays like a bartender kind of thing. There's camera shots, the camera angles, the lighting, everything is beautifully stylized. It's narrated by Mike Patton. For those of you who don't know, Mike Patton is the most talented singer on earth, and he sings for a little tiny band that some of you may have heard of called Faith No More. And it is just a sensational movie. And like anyone I mentioned to has never seen this film.
Yeah,
I've
not seen it.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of like 300s, like your 300, The Spirit, like pretty much any comic book movie of those kind of Sin City era-ish comics, you'll thoroughly enjoy this, I personally think. It is very much done like that. The fight scenes in it are phenomenal because obviously there's no gunplay, so it's all swords and fists, like fighting. And it's just, it's great. I highly, highly recommend it. So get in there. So that is Bunraku.
Nice. My other one, once again, Rogue, does not answer your question whatsoever, but anywho, we're going back to that sleeper factor of not expected to do well and does really, really well. Saw. So Saw was a little known sort of, it was struggled to get its start up.
Australian.
A couple of Aussies, James Wan and Chap Wannell. So
Wan as well. It's Wan.
James Wan, sorry, my bad. So they
he's kind of famous now.
Oh, very famous now. And you watch, next time I say his name, I'll still say Wan. So this one, it had a budget of around 1 to 1.2 million. And at the box office, it actually made 103.9. So it got... they struggled. They couldn't get it done anywhere in Australia. So nobody wanted a bar of it within Australia. They took it to LA. It was written in 2001. released in 2004. So it was released in October 2004 globally, but it did have a release in January 2004 at Sundance. So released at Sundance, someone picked it up from there.
Do you know how they got it made? I can tell you how they got it made.
They didn't they have like one room where they just had
they had 15K. They spent 15K and they filmed the reverse bear trap scene. And they've used that to pitch it to the studios to get the money.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And I mean, like, from talking about a sleeper film and being completely wrong to the question that AJ actually asked and doing my Google diligence, it really has paved the way for this modern take and twist on slasher films. And this movie when it came out was
some say ruined as well.
Fucking incredible. Pardon?
Some say ruined as well.
Oh, look, some can say ruined. I disagree.
Because Saw movies, they're torture porn.
I get that.
They started the fucking Hostel film craze and all that kind of stuff. And I love Saw up until I think it was 4.
I think 1 and 2 were great. 1 and 2 were great.
Well, because one was the only one done by the guys. One was the only one. They sold the rights off after that.
Yeah. So they did the first one. It was incredible. I thought the second one was good because it was like that shift in like, right, we got the 2 people in a room trying to work through what it was. And then the second one had like the 15 or 16 people or something like that. I thought that shift up was like, you know what, let's go from this to that. So it shown that too, like the disparity between the two. I thought that was awesome. But then from there, it was sort of, the story lost itself and they really were just trying to outdo themselves on how the kill and contraption kills occurred rather than actually having some story to drive.
I like the story part up until I think it's 4. It was like the first time where they did the massive link to before the first one. Whenever that happened, that's the part I liked up until there. And then after that, and that was so successful and they kept trying to do that and and it just made this giant convoluted fucking circle. That's when I just gave up on them because I don't really give a fuck about the torture porn kills and all that kind of stuff. I like the story and the psychological, like that first one with the dude in the middle of the room. That was fucking...
it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. So well done. I mean, like they've got 10 out now. I think, I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them.
Plus Spiral as well.
No, that's included in the 10. That was the 9th one that came out, and then Saw X is the 10th. No,
Spiral came out after Saw X. Spiral's the 11th. I'm pretty sure.
Not from what I was looking at earlier today. And I've got a very, very interesting thing that I just discovered about 30 seconds ago that everybody needs to know. So what are we looking at? Saw franchise. So
I'm pretty sure Spiral came out because X was the last one of the main series. Yeah, and then so Spiral was the spin-off.
Saw X came out September 2023. Spiral from the Book of Saw came out in 21.
Oh, there you go.
And you've got Saw, and then you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3D, which was 7, Jigsaw, which was 8, Spiral, which was 9, and then Saw X, which was 10, and you got Saw 11 coming out in September 25.
For fuck's sakes.
So I enjoyed Spiral when I watched it because it was a little bit different. It still had that loop back in some way, shape, or form, but it wasn't as in your face or trying to pull at straws from what I remember. And then Saw X, I actually haven't seen yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
So I might get to it at some point in time, but I'm not rushing out to get to it. But yeah, that was my second pick. And again, in my rogue format of going out and doing stuff. But also, my little tidbit of information that I just found out that I thought was fucking hilarious is I was having a quick look at your Bunraku show and trying to find the character that Ron Perlman played, and it was called Nicola, apparently. Now, when I clicked on Ron Perlman to see what was going on, he was also in a TV series from 87 to 1990 as the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Fucking, there you go. Good old Ron Perlman.
And fuck me. Like, it just, even with all the makeup on, you're like, oh yeah, that's Ron Perlman.
Yeah. That's Ron Perlman. He's got a pretty distinctive head.
Oh, he really fucking does. But yeah, that's, I find that hilarious. Anywho, a little
All right.
sidetrack.
Well, my third film is a little film. This one's more of a cult classic than a sort of sleeper one. I love this film, and obviously no one has heard of this film ever unless you are a Bruce Campbell fan. And for those of you who don't know, Bruce Campbell is the original actor of the Evil Dead films, Ash vs. the Evil Dead and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
This film is called Bubba Ho-tep. So it's a film from 2002. It's a horror comedy, and it is Bruce Campbell plays Elvis in a retirement home. So the Elvis that died wasn't in fact the real Elvis. The real Elvis got sick of being famous, so he swapped his life with an Elvis impersonator. And the one that got fattened, so that's when Elvis started getting fat and died, because that was actually an impersonator. The real Elvis just lived his life off and kind of stuff. And now he's in a retirement home, and his best friend is a black guy who believes that he is Kennedy. And after he was assassinated, they repaired his head and filled it with sawdust and dyed his skin black to hide him. And now he's in the retirement home with him. So now this sounds like a phenomenal movie as it is. I can all hear you saying, AJ, this is an amazing film. Where can I watch this?
Fucking twisted.
But that's not the movie. The movie is people in the nursing home start dying. And Elvis and JF Kennedy discover that it's actually an ancient mummy called Bubba Ho-tep who is sucking the life out of residents of the nursing home through their assholes. So Elvis and JF Kennedy have to stop the mummy from sucking the life out of people's buttholes.
What the fuck?
Yes. This is a phenomenal movie. And the first line in the movie, I can't remember it off for bait. Like I've got it, I've watched it multiple times. I can't remember the line, but it's like a voiceover from Elvis, and he's like, God, I miss, what's Elvis's wife's name? Priscilla. Is God, I miss Priscilla.
Priscilla, yeah.
God, I miss Priscilla because only she could pull my dick so hard that they could pop this cyst that I've got growing at the end of it or something like that.
Oh my!
And that's like the first line of the film.
Did you find this movie?
I love Bruce Campbell, so it's just it is an amazing film. I've got it on DVD if you want to borrow it. I've got like the collector's edition of it.
Fucking Jesus!
But yeah, it's based on a novella, but it's just fucking out there, man. It is a weird movie. It's funny as fuck, and yeah, just like if the premise doesn't make you want to watch it, I don't know what does.
Fucking hell. Okay,
so that's my third one, Bubba Ho-tep.
Bubba Ho-tep. All right, my third one. Now the reason I picked this one, it's a little more up your alley, and as I said, it's something that I had not heard of until I stumbled across it. And even when I mentioned it to people, typically they say, "Oh yeah, what's that about?" Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, I love this film.
Such a good fucking movie. Now, I legitimately only seen this maybe, I think, 2021, maybe 22-ish. It's directed by Drew Goddard, written by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard.
This is pre-cancelled Joss Whedon.
Chris Hemsworth, Anna Hutchinson, Frank Kranz, Jesse Williams, Richard Jenkins, Bradley Whitford. And it is fucking out there. Like, it starts
the funniest part about Chris Hemsworth in this movie is he filmed it before he was Thor, but it came out after he was Thor.
Yeah, because this was actually, it was meant to come out in 2009, but I can't remember why, but it had some reason that it like sort of struggled to come out. Then it was meant to come out in 2010. Oh, it actually, I'm just having a look now. Apparently, it was indefinitely shelved due to financial difficulties, and then 2011, Lionsgate picked up distribution and got it out there. So, I mean, the plot is that there's an underground laboratory where there's these engineers who discuss mysterious rituals to more or less get, I think it's the main character, to get sacrificed to this underworld demon.
Yeah, so essentially, it's a governmental agency need to create sacrifices to appease elder gods. Yep. But the way they do it is the 4 archetypes need to be killed, and they are the slut, the nerd, the something, and there needs to be the final girl.
The jock.
Yeah, and the final girl needs to die last.
Yeah.
And so the way they do it is it's all depicted as like your stereotypical slasher horror film tropes.
Yeah, and like it's so fucking well done. Like they 4 or so college students go to a cabin in the woods. They're just being young and dumb, and then I think 1 or 2 of the characters, their demeanor shifts
they get
dramatically
drugged,
from what they were doing, and they're kind of like, what's going on here? And then it all starts to like shift into this weird shit, and you see like animal like monsters and stuff come and get them. I think there's like this random scene where you're seeing someone come out and start fiddling with like one of the monsters, and then goes away. You're like, wait, what the fuck just happened there? And then it just continues to get weirder, and the monsters get weirder again. And then, I mean, Chris Hemsworth, from memory, he dies by trying to save everybody by jumping the gorge because they're running away from the monsters.
Yeah. Drives into an invisible wall.
They're all running away from the monsters. Like, he gets a motorbike. He's like, it's all right. I can make this jump easy enough. And he's well set. And honestly, I didn't fucking see this coming. And then he just hits a big force field barrier and just plummets to his death. You're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then just continues from there. Monsters, they end up going, they find the lift to get down into like the underworld space, and there's just all tropes of monsters coming out.
So essentially, if you're a horror fan, you'll see that's like a big cubes thing, and you'll see just like multiple monsters. Like, okay, that's fucking Hellraiser. That's that's aliens. That's gremlins. Like everything.
It's so good, so good. And it was funny. During the week, I actually seen a photo which had the whiteboard from the engineers in their space, and they're going, right, so what are we going to bring out this time? And it's just got a list in behind of all the different monsters and different things that can come out. And the photo said, right, we need someone to get on making the movie for each one of the items from this board. Like, you know what? I'm fucking on. Yep, let's do it. So yeah, Cabin in the Woods, it actually kind of answers your question.
It does, that is a good one.
Highly recommend going out and giving this one a watch. It is awesome.
That has given me an honorable mention, and I thought I'll just chuck that out there because this is another movie that not many people know about and is one that people need to see. So Frantic fans, if you want to watch a good film, you'll love this one. This is another horror comedy one, and Cabin in the Woods gives me the idea for this one. It is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That is fucking a random movie.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this one, essentially it's Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk. So Alan Tudyk's Firefly fame, all that kind of stuff. Tyler Labine, he's in a lot of stuff. He's like Dr. Iggy in New Amsterdam, that medical one. Mm-hmm. He's like the psychiatrist guy in it. But essentially this one is they play rednecks and they just bought a cabin in the woods and they're driving to go fix it. And then whilst they're doing that, there's a group of college students who are going to party in the woods and they keep running into each other. And the high school kids are under this misconception that these rednecks are trying to murder them. And it's all just these wrong place, wrong time situations of these kids, and they just end up killing themselves. But they keep seeing it as the rednecks are doing it, and the rednecks aren't doing anything. They're just literally just standing there. And it's just, it is like hilarious watching a horror movie from the supposed baddies' point of view when the baddies aren't actually the baddies doing anything. It's actually the college students who are the baddies. And it's just a fantastic film, and everyone needs to watch it. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is a phenomenal film. All right, well, that's it for the films. I think
before we jump off of films, now I got a message during the week from Mr. Bevan Hall. We had him as a guest on one of our previous episodes. Now he's requested that we go and watch a movie from the 80s. It is available to watch on YouTube. It is a movie called Fritz the Cat. Apparently it is a bit fucking out there. Movie by a chap named Ralph Bashki.
Oh, yes.
So apparently there's a whole bunch of stuff
1972.
that is, yeah. So apparently there's a whole bunch of weird shit that he does. So we'll give this one a watch, and we'll come back and we'll have a bit of a chat about that in a few weeks.
Okay, and next week, let's do this same subject, or maybe not next week. We'll try and space it out, maybe. But I want to do the same subject, but with TV series. So sleeper series that people haven't really seen and need to watch.
All right, so everybody, you're going to get 3 ripper answers from AJ again, and you're going to get Brock going rogue, forgetting what the question actually was, and Googling TV series sleeper. Okay,
on to trailers. We've got 3 trailers for you today. And let's start with Supacell.
So I seen this pop up the other day. It's actually coming out in about a week. So it comes out on June 27th. It is
on
a
Netflix.
6-episode TV series on Netflix. It is British based. So South London synopsis is that in South London, a group of normal people suddenly develop superpowers. The only apparent connection between them is that they are all black. As they deal with the impact of their lives on their powers on their daily lives, one man must bring them together. This looks really fucking cool.
It looks awesome. It reminds me, because I love British gangster shows. They know how to make that gritty, like gangstery style stuff, like Lock, Stock, all that kind of stuff. And then also there's 2 really good films called Kidulthood and Adulthood, which are actually, I think there was 3 of them. I can't remember, but they're phenomenal films, and it's very much like this, like that British gangster attitude. And this also reminds me of Misfits, the series Misfits.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, from my perspective, this looks like an awesome, gritty show that'll be far more about the lives of the characters within it and how they're sort of navigating through their lives. And, they also have superpowers. So it'll be far more about the storyline and what they're trying to do, and that drive. I'm keen to see that drive through, rather than it just being another superhero action movie or TV series. Sorry, no, don't get me wrong. I would love it if it was a superhero action TV series, but I'm keen to see the way that this comes across as well. But it looks really good.
Great. The powers are cool.
Trailer gave away nothing, really. Starts off with a big old portal and then just sort of goes from there. I mean, it looks sweet.
No, I reckon it's going to be a sweet series. Looks good. Watch the trailer, guys. Yeah. Tell us what you think on Facebook. We'll talk about it.
We will.
What's next?
Watchmen, Chapter 1 and 2.
The Watchmen series. So this is essentially the comic book come to life in 3D.
I like the look of the animation.
I do. It looks good. It's just...
I know what you're like.
No, it's... I'm fine with this one. It's just... These things tend to have bad animation done because the 3D to me, it always looks rushed. And that ends up being... The CGI looks shit because it's rushed.
Yeah, I get that.
As opposed to when physical animation's done, it looks better because it takes time. It just takes time to do. Whereas CGI is a lot quicker for them to animate, and I feel like it's a lot of the times it looks rushed. It looks crappy.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, look, I get that. But I mean, this one, it looks sweet. It's coming out. The first one comes out this year. I had a good look. I could find out fuck all about this.
I only found out that it was happening like a week ago.
Yeah, exactly. I found out about a week ago it was happening. It's looks like it's possibly August that it's going to get released, the first part anyways, but they haven't confirmed anything, so it might not be August. The second part, 2025, they haven't said anything more. I even went looking for cast members, couldn't find shit. No. I couldn't find a single fucking thing about this.
But apparently it's the most faithful adaptation. Like it's a fully faithful adaptation.
Well, look, I mean, what I wrote is that it looks to be, as you said, the comic brought to screen. Like that's what it looks like. And I am not mad about that whatsoever. It looks awesome. The voiceover from Rorschach looks awesome. It sounded awesome.
the comic, yes, it's one of the greatest comics ever written. It's not that great. I'm going to say it.
I seen the film before I seen the comic, the Snyder film from, I don't know, 2000 and whatever it was. That was an awesome.
I love the Snyder film. Love the Snyder film.
So good. Now I went and read the comic after, and I think I was drawn to the film before the comic. Now I get why the comic was such a good one as well, because I mean it came out in I think it was the late 80s off the top of my head. So it was sort of, it was a revolutionary, so to speak, at the time for the story that it was telling and that different take of what a typical superhero sort of story was doing. So it was awesome in that regard.
It's because Alan Moore's a fuckwit. That's why. Let's just put it out there. He's a douchebag of a human being, and he just hated I think he was just sick and tired of superheroes and writing them and all that kind of stuff. So that's why he did this, which is funny enough because DC owned it. I was under Vertigo at the time, and DC owned it. And now it's a part of DC canon, and they're all in the fucking they're touching with Batman and shit like that. So
yep.
It's kind of a fuck you to Alan Moore.
Pretty much, really is. Looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks good. I will watch the shit out of it, and obviously it's gonna, because for those of you who don't know, who haven't read the comic, only watched the movie, the ending of the movie isn't the end of the comics.
Yes,
it's similar. Essentially, the movie ends with the bomb happening, whereas in the comic, he brings aliens from another dimension into New York to destroy New York or whatever it is. And that's the main thing, but that was going to be too expensive to do or something like that, Zack Snyder said, so they changed it.
Fair enough. So yeah, there's that one. And then the last one, Twilight of the Gods.
Until you put this up, I had no idea what the fuck this was.
See, I had no idea what the fuck this was until it came across my social media screen about a week and a half ago.
Yeah,
I think it came out or from what I've seen or stumbled across, I think it was like the day before we recorded the last episode. I was like, all right, I'll throw it on for the one after. But I mean, it's Zack Snyder. He's the creator of the show. He's doing direction on the first and last episode of the series. The other ones will be sporadic for whoever comes through and does their stuff. From my understanding, the first and last episodes are also going to be the longer ones. So I think they're earmarked for 45 to an hour, whereas the other ones will be sitting around that half hour to 40 minutes part. Whole bunch of actors who some of them you'll recognize their face, and some of their voices you'll recognize as well, but there weren't too many like A-listers that I could see in there. And honestly, it just seems like, Twilight of the Gods, it's actually a term.
I'm sorry, no A-listers. It's got fucking John Noble in it, motherfucker.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't.
He's an extremely famous Australian actor.
All right. Well, when I was looking through it, I was not paying much attention, was I?
No, he's Fringe.
Yep.
And if you've never watched Fringe, you're fired from the show. Because Fringe is one of the best TV shows ever made.
Oh, well, there you go.
Corey Daniel Stoll. Yep. It looks awesome.
It does.
The animation style is, phenomenal.
It's sweet.
Phenomenal animation style.
Big, bold colors, hard lines. It looks sweet.
It reminds me, it's very much in the style of Samurai Jack, the animation style. Not as like watercolory backgroundy kind of style, but that similar animation style that Samurai Jack had. It reminds me very much of that, plus blood and lots of killing instead of fighting robots for kids.
Yes. But I mean, Twilight of the Gods, that's a term also known as Ragnarok. So I mean, that in itself, and like you can just tell straight off the bat, it's Norse mythology, and it more or less alludes to it being humans versus the gods, and how that's gonna come across onto the screen.
And so fucking Hans Zimmer is doing the music for it.
Yes,
Hans Zimmer is doing the music for a fucking cartoon.
I know, right?
Wow,
what is that?
That's that means we're not going to be able to hear any of the dialogue.
Oh, no.
Fuck it. If he has his way, it'll just be like, they're in the background. Sorry for you, guys.
Yeah. I suppose my only drawback is that I unfortunately look at anything with Snyder's name on the moment. I hope he fucking redeems himself. Like that's literally. But I mean, it looks good. It looks like a sweet trailer. It doesn't give much away. It's just that it's the animation style, bloody. It looks fun. Looks awesome.
It looks great, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And it should it should be enjoyable.
Yes, definitely. So September 19th, put in your calendar.
Gaming.
Sorry, I pressed the button too early.
No, that's all right.
September 19th, put it in your fucking thing. All
Push
right.
the button again.
Now I'll press the button again.
Gaming.
Gaming.
I really thought about talking over it then as well.
So, unfortunately, this is sad news. Atomic has announced that Armada and X-Wing is no more. And for those of you who don't know, Armada and X-Wing are Star Wars themed miniature games where X-Wing is X-Wing scale, so your little fighter ships, so X-Wings, TIE wings, all that kind of stuff, going around a table using movement templates and little secret dials that you put face down. And Armada is the more zoomed back, death, what are they called? Star Destroyers and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Now, you haven't played Armada, have you?
I'm pretty sure we've played Armada like once or twice, but
Maybe,
not in a very long time.
And I think you played X-Wing once.
I don't think I've played X-Wing.
Okay.
We can give it a go. But I mean, Armada was sweet. Like
Armada
it was
is
a good,
a
fun
phenomenal game that Fantasy Flight Games just did their Fantasy Flight Games thing of not supporting it, having piss poor fucking delivery times. Pretty much everything the Fantasy Flight Games does with every single game they have, which eventually kills nearly every single game they have.
They are good at it.
Hence
if you're
why
going to
they
do something, do it well.
Well, that's why they supposedly gave the game to Atomic. Because for those of you who don't know, Atomic Mass Games is a subsidiary of Fantasy Flight Games, who is a subsidiary of Asmodee. So they gave it to Atomic Mass Games after the Marvel game went so well with Atomic Mass. They were doing it. And Armada, it just never got the love it deserved because it was a phenomenal game. And X-Wing, it was okay. It's essentially a car game in outer space.
Yeah, okay.
Really. You essentially all your things have got out, all your ships are out there. You have a little dial that has multiple different maneuvers that the ship can do, whether it like spins around or goes straight, blah, blah, blah. You pick the maneuver secretly and you put it down, and then you flip them over in initiative order, do your maneuver, and then you can shoot each other and stuff like that. Okay. I personally think there's a better game out there called Armored Skies that I wrote that works much better with those. And at some point, you lovely fans out there may get to play that game. But Armada, phenomenal game, and it's going to live on with the fans. I personally am going to make some fan-made ships for like Gundam ships and stuff like that. And it's a good game.
Yeah, and it's not complete bad news. While they're not continuing the development, they will be continuing support for the game in general. So whether it's competitions, organized play, that type of stuff. So there will still be a level of support for the game itself. It's just that they won't be at this point developing anything new. Yeah,
which it's a shame because it's such a good game. And like I said, like X-Wing had they released a lot of minis for X-Wings, like ships that no one even fucking knew existed in the Star Wars universe. They released a lot of them. Then they actually did a second edition as well. So it had a lot. There's a lot of ships out there, and like it's pretty much it was done.
Yeah,
it needed nothing more. Whereas before Atomic Mass got Armada, I think Fantasy Flight released Clones and the other prequel movie Army.
Oh yeah.
Republic and something, but there were 4 factions essentially, and like super hard to get the starter sets for them, all that kind of stuff. But the minis for them are fucking awesome. They're like beautiful big ships, and I've got 2 starter sets I think from memory.
So I understand they came pre-painted.
Yeah,
as well.
Pre-painted. Yeah. Fucking awesome. They look great. And I think Armada released the big, whatever that giant fucking arrowhead looking ship out of the new movies was.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like on the table, it's like fucking 60 centimeters long or something. Like the mini, it was like $190 or $200 to buy just the one fucking spaceship from memory.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome.
But yeah, I'll probably I'll play it with like Gundam ships and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure people have made like Halo stats and stuff like that because it was the Halo miniature game which from Spartan Games years ago died. A lot of fans still play that game, but it would work great for this as well with this system. But yeah, highly recommend it. If you can get it cheap, get it now before prices get fucking skyrocketed by the gamer nerds. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What's on your table, sir?
What's on my table? So my table hasn't shifted from the other week. And to be fair, I didn't expect it to. But one thing that I will say is that I got myself a little bit of an early birthday present from Shan and my daughter. So I am super fucking keen for this because what they got me is a 4,000 piece Batman the Animated Series Lego set.
Oh, is that the that one that's like the backdrop wall thing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that looks fucking awesome. It
looks so fucking good. So I'm going to hook into that at some point in time in the coming days. I'd say that we'll get through a few of the lower number bags because they just come in there's a shitload of plastic within a shitload of plastic bags, and the books there was 2 instruction books, each of them about 300 pages each to get through.
Jesus.
And just having a little bit of a flick through. I'm keen to just go through the process because from what I've seen, each of the pages and the way that they've done it, it relates to one of the episodes as well as you're building it. So the idea is like episode 1 is this, and this is what you're building because of episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, 4, 5, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be really cool to go through that process.
I think from memory, episode 1 was Man Bat.
Yeah, but I don't think they actually like per se say, hey, Man-Bat. It's like more so, I think from what I read, it was like an introduction to Batman. So you build the Batman piece and a couple of like supporting pieces like that. But it'll be interesting anyways, just to see what it goes through. And I'm definitely going to do some form of video, something or other that I'll throw up on the social medias as I'm going through and building it.
Well, my table, I have been painting Dungeon Saga Origins. Dungeon Saga Origins, which I've put some pictures up on my socials, on Weird Art by AJ socials. Yep. So I've been painting some of them. I haven't painted for a couple for a little bit. I've been doing a art piece, which I'll start sharing some pictures of soon. I'm up to the skin of one of the characters in the art piece, and I hate doing skin because it sucks. So that's taken a while to get the motivation to continue with that one.
Well, you've seen my artistic ability during the week, so we know that I am not one for artistry, so I can't do skin either.
And for those of you watching on the video, I've got some little soldiery. Zoom this shit in. I've got some little soldiers that I finished painting. Just got to finish the bases on it, like do the black rim, and they're pretty much done, ready for some.
Put heaps more effort into yours than what I did. Mine are fucking I'm pretty sure I based mine in black and then just got a couple of different greens and just flicked them a little bit. That's all I fucking did.
Yeah, no, I did
I
some.
whipped up my 6 or 7. I did in about 5 minutes.
I did some Google foo on how to paint camouflage. And it's not too hard camouflage. You just do like your base coat green, and then it's just you get like a brown, and you get your paintbrush, and you just do like random dabs all over it, and then you get like a different color, like a lighter brown or something, a couple of dabs, and then a darker green, a couple of dabs. You just do like 4 times, and it gives you really good camo.
I think I just found where I put them.
Here we go. This is very interesting. This is super interesting for you people listening at home instead of watching. Can you get it close to the camera? There it is. That looks fine.
Oh, you're right. It looks fine. I'd slapped together with it. I reckon there was about 30 seconds of painting on each one of these guys.
Well, for those of you who are wondering why we're doing military minis out of all the minis that are out there, I've got a game by Osprey Games, which is like a bring your own mini game. It's called Black Ops, and it's like modern military style game. It looks really good, and I've never played it. I've had the book for ages, and I thought, fuck it, let's print some armies out and paint them up, and we're going to have a go at that at some point. I think that is really it for stuff that's on my table. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
So that's the end of the episode. Thank you, everyone, very much for listening to Frantic Nerdcast, as per usual.
Thank you indeed.
We will be back next week with another episode, hopefully. So until then, I am AJ.
And I'm Brock.
Bye. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever all good podcasts are listened to. On YouTube, you can check out the latest episodes just after the podcast is uploaded.
Follow along the journey on our Facebook and Instagram. You follow me, Frantic Brock, on Instagram, and you can follow AJ, Weird Art by AJ.
See ya.